RLA on Twitter. Okay, that's it for the feedback and shout-outs. We're now going to move on to what is another bumper edition of news from around the world of Rugby League. News now from around the world of Rugby League, sponsored by littlewarden.com. If you have a website, then visit littlewarden.com and see what they can do to help you. They can help you with domain expiration checks, redirects, and all sorts of other important background web stuff that they'll make simple for you. Little Warden, monitoring the tedious. And Tim, I'm going to go through a couple of stories, first of all, that have come out of Scotland in the last week, which are pretty big pieces of news, I would suggest. First of all, Chris Chester and John Duffy are the new joint head coaches of Scotland's Rugby League team. The pair take over from Steve McCormack, who resigned from the post last December after 13 years in charge. Chester, who's 39, is head coach at Wakefield Trinity, while Duffy, 37, is in charge at Featherstone Rovers in the Championship. And alongside this information release, Aaron Bauer of League Express and The Guardian, I think, and loads of other bits and bobs, managed to get some information out of Scotland Rugby League Chief Executive Keith Hogg. He has confirmed that new Scotland head coaches Chris Chester and John Duffy will be unable to select Danny Brough and his two teammates that were also sent home from last year's World Cup. Brough, along with Sam Brooks and Jonathan Walker, will not be picked for this year's European Championship. They were sent home from the tournament ahead of their final group game with Samoa in Cairns after being deemed too drunk to board a flight from Christchurch. Hogg, however, insisted the decision was not solely based on their off-the-field antics. I can't see what else it was based on, but he said that there's a need to move on and start afresh under the new tenure of Duffy and Chester. We do have some Scotland RL fans that listen to the Super League pod, so we had a few views in from those guys. So Paul Michael Craig at PaulMac_78, an Aussie but a brave heart deep down, said coaching duo seems sound, and like Huddersfield, who he also supports, I feel it's time to move on from the Brough era. Hopefully really commits, otherwise we look a bit skinny in the halves. Also hope the new coaches give some actual Scottish players a run now so they are up to speed for the 21 Rugby League World Cup. And Mike Donnelly, great old friend of the show, doesn't get in touch as much these days, but good guy all round, at Mike L. Donnelly if you want to follow him and find out about gridiron and veganism and stuff like that, along his other many interests. He says, nothing surprises me with Scotland RL nowadays. Danny Brough will always have the honour that he captained a team that made Four Nations history. That will be the draw against New Zealand is referred to. The new coaches should be welcomed, and I'm interested to see how they develop the squad. So, look into the future there.
Yeah, decent appointment. I think they've done well as well to get the two of them in, sort of shoehorning both of them in as joint head coaches. It'll be interesting to see, though, if that works as a joint, because it doesn't often work as a concept, does it, when you have two people jointly in charge? It's got to come down to one of them ultimately.
I wonder if they'll be given sort of separate responsibilities within the structure of things, so that Duffy will maybe lead on the attack and Chester will lead on the sort of overall tactical piece, maybe, or the conditioning piece, or what have you it may be. And I'm sure they'll work out a good allocation of work.
Yeah, but it's good for them to get the two of them in there. Obviously, they know the system. They've both been through as Scotland players, so that's good.
And we're working with Steve
McCormack.
Yeah, McCormack. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. The other candidate you probably would say was in the frame would be Andrew Henderson. Would be the one who the only other person you could see would have a decent shot at it. But obviously he's got slightly less head coaching experience, but he will presumably be in a year or so. You would expect him to be getting a bit more head coaching experience.
Potentially, yeah.
So I think it's a good appointment for them. Obviously, they're both quite young as well in terms of coaches that are around. So they're going to be there for a few years potentially. So they've got some time to grow and develop in the role.
Yeah, and
which is good.
Giving the two of them means that maybe the workload burden isn't too bad. Having someone in who's familiar with the championship helps expanded knowledge and understanding of some of the player pool. I would have thought as well for Scotland. I mean, obviously they've got a very, very small domestic scene up there, and I did see a story about the Aberdeen Warriors playing a friendly against some far-flung foreign team the other day. But so you know, there's still things going on up there. But in terms of bringing through people from that system, that's the challenge about making making that.
I think are they down to 3 clubs now?
Well,
or is it 3.5?
I think it's back up to 4. But yeah, it's not a strong scene at the moment. Okay, so moving on to one of the other home nations. Do you want to take us? I
suppose just on the Brough news. I mean, that's not much of a surprise, and that's probably him going to be done, I think, at international level.
And what an embarrassing way for him to go out.
Yeah.
In reality, Scotland's greatest ever player has embarrassed himself and let himself down as his way to depart, and that is a shame. That is a shame.
Yeah, massively so. Yeah, so moving on to some more Welsh news, and Wales captain Craig Kopczak has retired from International Rugby League. The 31-year-old represented the country for over 10 years, making his debut in October 2007 when they defeated Papua New Guinea. He captained Wales in 2 World Cups, taking the captaincy in 2012, leading the side 13 times, joint second in the country's history. The Salford forward captained the side in their 2015 European Championship success and also featured in the 2011 Four Nations. So a fantastic player for Wales Rugby League. It does, however, in terms of the Welsh side, now leave them quite bare in terms of the forward pack. If you think that Phil Joseph also retired, so that front row is looking quite weak.
And Ben Flowers not played for a while, mostly through to injuries. Although there was one year that he had off.
He just chose to have an extended honeymoon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Didn't Gil Dudson get married and he was the best man or something along those lines?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He chose to spend some extra time there.
But yeah, that's where it's at. I'm surprised, and we're going to go on to talk about the qualification process for the next World Cup, and I'm surprised they didn't stick around for the European Championships to help Wales qualify, and then maybe give the side 3 years to find some sort of replacements. But he's chosen to step down. Obviously, he's one of the most capped players, one of the big, joint second in the country's history for captaining the side. So, is put in a long, consistent shift for the Welsh national side. He's probably at the stage of his career where he's thinking that if he has a little bit longer at pre-season, rather than being missing, that he might just extend him by a year. And he might need to have those sort of saleable points to get another Super League contract, maybe down the way at this stage. Not that he's playing particularly badly, but it's not been a successful side for some time now.
Yeah, but you can't blame him at all for making the decision. He's done more than his allotted service, so he's done very well. So all the best to him.
The next stage of qualification for the 2021 World Cup, which we just alluded to, that has been revealed for Europe and the Americas. So we'll start with Europe. France, Ireland, Scotland and Wales will meet in the 2018 European Championship over 3 weekends in October and November this year. With the top 2 automatically qualifying for the main tournament, joining the 8 quarterfinalists from 2017, which of course featured none of the minor European teams this time around, sadly. The venues and dates of those things haven't been confirmed yet. They will be in due course, I'm sure. But then I'm guessing Cumbria will have a couple of Scotland games and that sort of thing. The nations finishing 3rd and 4th in that tournament will then go on to face Italy and the top 2 teams from Euro B, which features Russia, Serbia and Spain, as well as the winners of Euro C, which comprises of 6 nations. So that'll be... I'm not even sure who that will be at this stage. I'd guess it.
Malta will be in there possibly.
Belgium,
because isn't Jared Samet qualified for Malta?
He does play for Malta, and so does John McGrin as well, I believe. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of other countries that will be in that next rank down. So we've had Spain,
Germany would be
Germany,
an option
yes.
in there. Greece would be an option in there. They've played some internationals in the past. Are they back in? Are they back in, or are they just observers at the moment until we make sure that no one's going to run on the pitch and clothesline anyone? But anyway, that's going to be confirmed, and that Euro C, the winner of that and the Euro B and all of that stuff, that second level of qualification is going to take place in October and November 2019. The top two from the 3-team pools of this extra thing that's going to happen will then make the 2021 finals as well. It'll take the total European representation up to 7 of the 16 nations. The 2021 tournament is expanded overall by 2 from 2017, as we should all already know. And if we think that the Super 8 system in Super League is complicated, then that qualification system, well, we don't even know all the team names, is hard to confirm. In the Americas, it seems pretty more straightforward.
Yeah.
There's 4 nations who are eligible for qualifying tournament, which will be held towards the end of this year, with the recent granting to Chile of affiliate membership of the Asia Pacific Confederation. They will be able to join, be the first South American side to be included in any qualification for the World Cup. They're going to join Canada, Jamaica, and the USA, who previously battled out on a 3-team basis for the last 2 World Cups. The winners of that will qualify for the World Cup finals. The runners-up will have an option to host a World Playoff group in late 2019. Now, I would imagine that the World Playoff group would then look to feature teams maybe like, would we guess, the Cook Islands, who were kind of left out there on their own with all the other teams getting through to the quarterfinals last time. There's
because Lebanon will go through as of right because they were quarterfinalists.
PNG.
Yeah.
Where Fiji were, Samoa were, and Tonga were. So it would be the Cook Islands.
The Philippines. They're in
around it. There's Thailand as well. Maybe there's Vanuatu have a rugby league team. So that will be the potential teams that line up there. And then the final piece of news that I'll do, and then you can do some of the club news. The final international piece of news is former Wigan Warriors boss Michael Maguire has been named New Zealand head coach. The Australian, who's 44, guided the Warriors to Super League Grand Final victory in 2010 and the Challenge Cup in 2011. 2 great moments in time. He replaces David Kidwell after the New Zealand Rugby League rules changed to allow an overseas appointment in the wake of a poor 2017 World Cup, where obviously they were punted out by Fiji and lost to Tonga as well.
How much was necessarily the coaching of that, though? I'm not sure allotting all the blame on the coach is necessarily fair.
I don't think they're blaming David Kidwell. I think they're accepting that David Kidwell wasn't adequately prepared to carry out the head coaching position. He took over, didn't he? Kind of.
Yeah,
not that long before,
too long,
really. When Kearney got the full-time gig at the Warriors, and I think that's kind of. I think he kind of got shunted into a position that he probably wasn't ready for, or maybe necessarily equipped for. That's my take on it personally. And maybe they've decided there wasn't any suitable Kiwi candidates.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What other Kiwis out there are there in terms of top coaching?
Well, exactly. Unless they went and got back Bluey McLennan, who has just sat around chatting about it for a while, but not actually shown any intent to get back into the game in a coaching sense. That's all I can think of there. So yeah, Maguire's first game will be the England test in Denver later this year, and hopefully when we do the Super League pod episode that relates around that game, we'll have someone who was at the game in Denver to be able to join the show, which will be fantastic. Okay, do you want to take it away on the big club news, shocking news, to everyone's surprise, Tim?
Yep, in the big shocking news, Huddersfield Giants have rewarded twin brothers Innes and Louis Senior with new contracts.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry, I've skipped down a couple, but we'll finish this one. The 17-year-olds both made their professional debuts this season, with Innes scoring 3 tries in 4 games, and they will stay at the club until the end of the 2020 season.
Well done to the twins.
Yeah, excellent. They can buy themselves a fun house with their contract. Bit of a reference back there. So the news which everybody was completely dumbfounded by it really early this morning as well. It was about 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know if they were trying to sneak it through, but I'm pretty sure everyone was going to know it is. Maybe the.
Well, it was on. It was even on the radio this morning, so it's actually made a bit of